Hi, I'm Kate Gerritses and I'm the founder and designer at Gerritses Crochet. This little introduction video, I just want you to explain to you my crochet journey and what I design now and what patterns I have available. So technically I've been crocheting since I was about 8 years old. I used to spend the weekends with my nana, who was yarn obsessed, all yarn disciplines, embroidery, crochet, knitting. So she passed on as much as she could to me. As is, I'm sure, common for many of us, I abandoned the craft somewhat during my teenage and 20s, and then about 15 years ago I picked up my hooks again and started out mostly with amigurumi. And one of the first ones I made is this. This is Betty, named after my nana, Betty the unicorn. So she was one of my first patterns. We still love her. And then I stayed with doing amigurumi for a while until I hit a bit of a roadblock because I wanted to create a realistic honeybee. The reason being is I'm British. I live in the Netherlands, and we have a small farm out here, and part of the farm is we keep bees. So I wanted to do something to do my ladies proud, but I could only ever find patterns of little cute round bees, which were great, but they weren't what I wanted. So I set about designing my own bee. And then this girl was born. This is my honeybee pattern. It's quite complicated. We've got wire work in there as well. It was not the easiest pattern for a novice designer, but I've never been one to go in the shallow end. I always like to jump in the deep end. So here's the same one in the velvet yarn. So I loved how these came out. Really, really happy. And so I stuck with the bug theme for a while. And we've also got in this, I've got my dragonflies and grasshoppers. So all these patterns, I love the final design. I loved how they came out. And all these patterns are still available on all my platforms. However, I found I wasn't really enjoying the process much as I loved the finished result. So I looked around for a while for different things to do, and I stumbled one day across mosaic crochet, and I loved how it looked. So I found some patterns on Ravelry for free and had a go, got my head around the technique and how it worked. And then, because that's what I do, leapt in the deep end and decided to design my own. So my first pattern was inspired by Oscar, who is my son. He was then 8 years old. This is the first mosaic blanket I ever designed and made. And as most 8-year-old boys are, Oscar is completely dinosaur obsessed. So, oops, sorry, Bessie. So this was the first design. It's called Raw, and it's still available. It's available on all of my platforms. This has been very well loved. He sleeps with this most nights. Unbeknownst to him, he's got a second one arriving for Christmas this year, which is all done. So after that, I found that I love the process, not just the making of the mosaic pattern, mosaic blankets, but also the designing and creation of the patterns. A word of warning, it is very addictive. Well, I think so anyway. It's complicated enough that you can design pretty much any design you want. The standard is limited to 2 colors. There are ways of doing multiple colors, but I'm not going to cover that here. But it's simple enough because it just consists of 2 stitches that you can still watch a TV show, listen to your podcasts, that sort of thing. So it keeps you occupied. So once I'd done that, I started, you can see here, I have not got all of my blankets that I've created with me because most of them are designed for friends and family. So normally I create a design that I gift the finished blanket away, and then my patterns are available. But these are all the ones that have not been gifted. I have 4 here, which these are all my Fantasy series, which is my favorite series and is the one I really want to focus on for 2026. I currently have 5 patterns in that. So you've got Draconic Dice, which was designed for my Dungeons and Dragons loving sister. So that's a dragon with the D20. Then came Wizard's Way, which is a wizard. Then we've got Fungal Fae, which is my fairy sitting on a mushroom. Then Ogre Onslaught, which is the ogre, bit more fierce, that one. And then literally just this week, Fantasy Flight has landed, which is the Pegasus. And I've got I've started on the 6th one, which is going to be a goblin and a mimic fighting with a stormy background. And I'm hoping to do at least 6, if not 8, fantasy designs for 2026. So watch this space. If you've got any suggestions for not just the fantasy series, but any other designs that you'd like to see, please drop a comment underneath this video. And if you like and subscribe, then you can follow. I'll be posting updates monthly to show what has been released, what I've got in the pipeline, what you can see coming up. And I'll also be sharing tutorial videos, mostly around the mosaic technique, but I also got a few for amigurumi tutorial videos, which I really want to keep as short and as simple as possible. So there's no fluff. You just go in there, watch the tutorial on the thing you need, and you're done. So please let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and happy crocheting!